Okay, thanks for listening. This is the Aggie Up podcast on National Signing Day. I have a few things to cover. Obviously, National Signing Day being number one. Also, the Aggies play a basketball game tonight and a bowl game on Saturday. So definitely there's a lot of different things to cover. Also wanted to invite everyone to put out give me feedback on if you've checked out the sponsors of the show, if you checked out primogolfapparel.com, if you've checked out the links that I put on Twitter for both Al's Sporting Goods and Motley Fool, and some different sponsorships that we've had in the past. Definitely let me know any feedback. Also, let me know if it is of at all interest for us to just come directly from Twitter and use like the Spaces option. If that's something of interest, if that's something you join, let me know as well. I think it could be fun to have me and some of the Twitter accounts you probably follow, like Brian Phillips and Seth, jump on there and kind of moderate a discussion about basketball, football, recruiting, any topics like that. It seems like those are starting to get more popular, and different people have used those. So could be fun, could be interesting. Maybe that is something we do a little bit more often than a regular podcast. I don't know. So it's not something that I've decided to take advantage of or try necessarily in the past. So let me know what you guys think, any feedback, or if you would jump on that. Also tweet something about that as well. But I wanted to talk about some of the signees from today. I think there's a few that are really of interest, especially some of the transfers. One of the transfers is Anthony Switzer from Arkansas State. He had 38 tackles this year at Arkansas State. Was definitely more of a defensive back when he was recruited in 2019. And so he's a guy with any transfer that has experience. You hope that they can come in and contribute right away, and that's a guy you would assume would be a guy kind of to help replace Cash Gilliam. The second transfer is Girvin Hall from Miami. He's a guy from Miami, Florida, safety, really high recruit, 4-star recruit to Miami. He has one more year to play. So he's a guy that's going to basically replace Shaq Bond, along with a couple other guys that will come back next year. I think, it's always good to have an experienced guy at safety, and also seems like some experience as well. Definitely played a decent amount at Miami, and has experience, obviously, with coaching staff, Coach Bonda. So that's one to keep an eye on for contributor right away, assuming he'll be here soon and participate in spring ball and everything. Should be a guy to contribute. The third one is a Utah guy that's transferring from back home from Washington, MJ Tafici. I guess he's from Alta High School at Washington. He's had a few injury problems, but he's had some definite playing time, some good playing time while he's been there at Washington. And like I said, kind of was brought in for a replacement to Justin Rice. Losing your number one linebacker, number one tackler, kind of leader of the defense is always a good spot to kind of look for a transfer to come in. And MJ Tafici could be that guy. He's a guy that watching him in high school and a little bit in Washington, the guy hits like a Mack truck. He hits extremely hard. He's a really physical, kind of stereotypical inside linebacker. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think AJ Vongpachong is definitely a guy to watch for. I guess to hopefully he takes over that leadership role next year at linebacker. Maybe MJ Tafisi's a little bit more like Metzenheimer, but can definitely cover and run a little bit better than Metzenheimer. So the Aggies are losing Metzenheimer and Rice, and so this seemed like kind of a no-brainer to bring in a guy like MJ Tafici, which unless you're getting a 5-star high school kid to come in, I think you definitely needed to bring in a transfer. There's some guys on the roster currently. Number one is AJ Vongpachong, but there's other guys that didn't quite play as much that could play a role as well in that. But it'll be fun to see some of the new guys, and those are the 4 kind of graduate transfer, I guess, or 2 years. I think Tafici and Switzer have 2 years to play. Girvin Hall has 1 year to play. And so those are the guys that I wanted to talk about first and foremost. I think it is a possibility that the Aggies could bring in an offensive lineman in as a transfer, and a wide receiver in as a transfer, maybe even a defensive lineman. But they're definitely adding a lot of those guys, a lot of beef from high school. I mean, just looking at the offensive linemen that they signed today, Teague Anderson from Lehigh, old school, nasty, big nasty guy that's going to be kind of an old school offensive lineman. Really excited about him. Waylon Lapuahu is probably the highest ranked recruit, and he is actually a guy that's going to enroll at Utah State in 2022 spring, this spring. And so that's really exciting because, he's a guy along with, really, I mean, Teague Anderson, Waylon Lapuahu, Sione Matapuaka is a guy from Hawaii, 6'5", 280. His brother plays at Utah State. He's in those 3 offensive linemen that they signed today, whether they contribute this year or in the next couple of years, those are really, really good signings. So I don't think any of those three guys are going to be really a question mark or anything. Definitely in the past, Utah State has signed some offensive linemen that are a little bit, I guess, more projects than anything, you could say. And I think these guys have shown that they should be pretty ready to come in and contribute. Whether they play right away, it'll depend on some different things. But there's definitely reason to be excited about their potential. There's a couple other guys from high school that are actually going to enroll in January as well. So in spring 2022, Max Alford, who was injured at Park City, played linebacker and running back. Paul Fitzgerald from Idaho Falls, he's a defensive end that will enroll early. Lofa Fanoti Maikui from Layton, he is going to enroll early as well. He's the Northridge. I think someplace they list him as Maximus. I don't know if his full name is Lofa Maximus or what, but that's who I'm talking about. He's going to enroll in early. Lapua, who I mentioned, is going to enroll early as well. So the other guys, as far as I know, will wait until this fall. And a couple guys that didn't sign today will be in the fall as well. Like I say, I'm going to keep my eye out, or we should keep our eye out for a couple more transfers, I would say, but nothing crazy as far as the number of transfers. They signed 3 today. If they signed 2 more, that's only 5 or 6 transfers. I think could be in the realm of possibilities, maybe a kicker or somebody. So that would definitely help out the depth and kind of moving into next year, replace some of the guys that are leaving. So that's a little bit about the signing class. You can definitely get all that information. But I wanted to give my my thoughts, I guess, or my input on some of that as well. Tonight, Utah State basketball team plays Weber State. I think the biggest storyline to kind of follow or to know about that is Kobe McEwen's at Weber State now. Obviously, Randy Ray is the coach who used to be a Utah State assistant, so should be interesting to kind of see how Weber State looks this year. Weber State, I mean, they've had a few decent teams in the last few years, but overall, I wouldn't say I've been super impressed with what Weber State has done in the last few years, especially, not really coming through and winning the Big Sky, and even in their best years, they kind of choke at the end under Randy Ray, it seems like. So, that's tonight. So it should be interesting. Hopefully, quite a few Aggie fans get out to the D Event Center and cheer on the Aggies, especially Wasatch Front Aggies. Don't have to drive as far, all the way up to Logan, and check out the Aggie basketball team. Saturday is the LA Bowl, and probably have a little bit more information coming in the near future as far as that goes. This was more of a National Signing Day thing, but we can definitely do another